Do you guys want to know what one of my secret favorite desserts are? It's chocolate pudding. Today's recipe is double chocolate pudding, so it's extra chocolatey, which speaks to me. To start the recipe, I am separating 4 eggs. You're only going to need the yolks for this recipe. If you wanted to serve it with meringue on top, you could take the egg whites and make a meringue and put on top. Whisk together your dry ingredients. So it's 1/3 cup of cocoa powder, 2/3 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. So this has 2 thickeners in it. One is the cornstarch and one are the egg yolks. The cornstarch is a really good, strong thickener, but the egg yolks will add some richness as well as additional thickening power. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, whisk to combine, and then gradually whisk in 2.5 cups of milk. The heat is not on, so I'm whisking in the milk off the heat. I'm going to add some of the milk, and then I'm actually going to add my egg yolks because I want to whisk my egg yolks in before it gets too liquidy. That way that it'll combine a little bit better, and then I'll add the rest of my milk. Whisk those in, and then whisk in your remaining milk. Now you'll probably notice that I am not tempering this. So everything is just going to cook together right here in this pot, and that's going to be okay. I do have a strainer set over a bowl in case you get any little bits of scrambled eggs when you're cooking this. Normally, many recipes like this will heat the milk and then temper it into the egg yolks where you pour the hot stuff in. We're just putting everything straight in here. You're going to cook this, bringing it to a boil so that the cornstarch activates. Should take about 8 minutes. I'm going to do that on like a medium high. Whisking constantly until the first large bubble comes to the top, then reduce the heat and cook it for another minute whisking. So you can see that this is already starting to get thick. It hasn't come to a boil yet, but it's starting to be nice and thick. And oh, there go the bubbles, see? I know it, any minute now. So just turn it down, and then you want to cook it a little bit more. To cook off the starch taste, to fully activate the cornstarch, it needs to cook a little bit more, about 1 minute. I was supposed to cut up some chocolate and I didn't do it yet, so I'm worried this is going to cool off too much to melt the chocolate. So I'm going to turn it off, really quickly cut up 4 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, and then put it through the sieve. Note to self, cut up chocolate first. Do as I say, not as I do. How often do I say that? Okay, if it sits for any amount of time, it might start forming a skin. So just give it a whisk and then pass it through the sieve. Try to get as much out as you can. Okie doke. So this is just to ensure that there are no little bits of cooked egg in here, but I can see that it's pretty good. The sugar and the cornstarch and everything sort of, I think, protect the eggs from overcooking and forming little pellets, but there's a couple in there. Always good to be safe. While it's still hot, stir your chocolate in. Stir that in. You might want it a little finer to ensure that all of it melts really well, and then add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Stir. The vanilla is really nice. You think it's not like a vanilla flavored pudding, but the vanilla is a really nice balance to the double chocolatiness. It just gives depth of flavor that's a little unexpected. And the butter adds a little bit of additional richness, and it also helps it set. Not that this is going to need any help setting. Now what you want to do is let this chill. It needs to chill for at least 3 hours and up to 3 days. This is so if you don't like a skin, you press this on. If you want a skin, then don't put it on, but you press a piece of plastic wrap directly onto the surface of the pudding, and that makes it so that a skin doesn't form. If you like a skin like me, leave it uncovered as it's setting, and then cover it if you're going to leave it in the fridge for longer than 3 hours. Now for the big reveal. This skinless pudding is done. Look, thick and creamy. Now, you want to use this as like a filling in a cake? Go for it. You want to make some kind of parfait? Go for it. And in fact, if you want to serve it in pudding cups like this, you could just divide it between the pudding cups and then let it set if you want it to be like more elegant. But you can also spoon it into the cups like I'm doing. A little bit of shaved chocolate on top because it needs more chocolate. You could also serve some whipped cream on this. You could pour a little bit of heavy cream on this. Serve it with a cookie. Or just go straight for the double chocolate, creamier than store-bought chocolate pudding.